It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Welcome to the Science Bowl, everyone. So nice to have you here. This is an important game. The two teams you're about to witness. Yes, we've got Kettering and Martin Luther King, having won their first round games, are here today to decide who will go on to the semifinal round robin, joining Robert Goddard and Charles Carroll as we get closer to this year's middle school championship in this, our 36th year of Science Bowl competition. So nice to have you here. Play along with these outstanding young people here today. See if you can keep up with them because they are elite students. Of course, we are not in the studio. All the students are at home because of the pandemic. We have tried to preserve some of the hallmarks of the traditional Science Bowl format. We still give our students 50 points just for showing up. We use our 6 traditional categories: Green Things, Zoo Parade, Body Systems, Let's Get Physical, Science Potpourri, and Dateline Science. And each team will get 18 questions, 3 from each category, valued at 5, 15, and 25 points. 18 questions, different, but of comparable difficulty, and the team that is ahead at the end. And we'll get a chance to talk to the students partway through the show. We'll come back and play again in that round robin. Let's now meet the team from Kettering Middle School. Let's start with the captain, Oliver. All of you, if you could wave to everybody out there at home who's watching. And Peyton is over there as well. He's a great player, and we're welcoming Andrew to the program today, correct? Hey, Andrew, nice to have you as part of the team. All right, if you are ready, let's get started. We're going to go to the Green Things category. We've got 3 questions for you. The first one with 5 points. If you're ready, Kettering, here we go. While many plants depend on abundant sunshine to photosynthesize and thus survive, other plants like ferns and coffee trees do much better in the what?
In the dark.
In the dark or in the shade, absolutely right. Good answer. 15 points, Green Things. The male part of a flower, the anther, never makes contact with the stigma, the female structure, relying entirely on these grains to transfer all the genetic material that is needed.
Seeds?
Not the seeds, the pollen. The pollen has to go from the anthers, and then it floats through the air, and then it lands on the stigma, and that leads to the fertilization and the ultimate production of the plant's fruit and seeds. Let's go to the 25-point question. At the moment, the Amazon forests are putting more carbon into the soil than they're putting back into the air. They're known as a carbon one of these. Sea creatures like sea creatures that can sop up water, and most famously live in a pineapple under the sea.
Sponge?
A sponge, that's right. So the Amazon forest is a sponge now because it is putting more carbon into the soil. Good answer. Zoo Parade for 5 points. When you milk a cow, I don't know if you guys have ever milked a cow, but when you milk a cow, the milk comes out of this organ that is a homonym for the verb meaning to speak.
Udders?
Udder is right, as in U-D-D-E-R instead of U-T-T-E-R. 15 points in the zoo. In the movie Jaws, which is all about a menacing great white shark. The fishing boat the shark attacked was named this, another name for a killer whale.
An orca?
That's right, and they decided they needed a bigger boat because, yeah, Jaws was really making mincemeat out of the orca. 25 points is a visual question. Have a look at the picture, guys. Zoo Parade for 25. Back in the 1920s, many of the trees in some African countries were cut down in a misguided attempt to control these T as in Tom, these T-initialed flies that can bite and harm people and animals, spreading something called sleeping sickness.
Tick.
They do look like tick. Tick is a reasonable. They're called tsetse flies. Tsetse flies. T-S-E, T-S-E. Let's go to the bottom, to the body. Let's give you 3 questions before you take your first break. 5 points in the body systems. If you are in the back of the car and you really have to urinate, oh my gosh, you really got to go. You might tell the driver, my teeth are floating, meaning that this organ is overflowing.
The bladder.
The bladder, absolutely right. The bladder is the point where it's going to tip over. Good answer, guys. For 15 points, the uvea, U-V-E-A, makes up this pigmented part of your eye. It is also the part of the eye that is the name of the Greek goddess of the rainbow.
Iris.
Iris is right, yes indeed. Blue, brown, green. Sometimes people can wear contact lenses and change the color of their iris. For 25 points, body systems. Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback Tom Brady is said to have played the last Super Bowl with an injured knee. Specifically, he had a tear in his MCL, his medial collateral what?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Tampa Bay Buccaneer Tom Brady said to have played the last Super Bowl with an injured knee. The injury he had was a torn MCL. Those letters stand for medial collateral what?
Leg.
It was a ligament there. You still had an excellent round. You have 120 points. We'll come back with you guys in just a few moments. Keep up your good work. All right, it is now time to meet the team from Martin Luther King. They are here. They too, like Kettering, won their first game this season and are vying for the chance to go to the round-robin semifinals. Let's meet the team members. They are all veterans of the Science Bowl, having participated, many of them in elementary and in middle school. Say hello to the captain, Martin McCall. Martin, could you wave to everybody, please? Thank you, Martin. Bailey's back with us too. Hey, Bailey. And it's also good to see Kelvin. Hey, Kelvin, welcome to the show yet again. Always good to see familiar faces here. All right, we're ready to get the game started here. Let's go to the green things category for you, MLK, for a 5-point question. Here it is. To establish his law of heredity, Gregor Mendel crossbred generations of these familiar vegetables, often paired with carrots and split up to make soup.
Peas. They're peas, right? Pea plants.
That's right.
Pea.
2 peas in a pod. Split pea soup. Got it. 5 points. Good start. 15 points in green things. The oldest one of these green things on Earth is called Methuselah.
Methuselah, oldest one of these.
I would think it is a tree. Trees are.
We've always had trees, I think.
Trees? A tree?
Absolutely. The oldest tree, Methuselah, indeed. Good answer. For 25 points, if you remember the cicadas, how can we forget them? They made a big impact on 2021. Flagging, F-L-G-G-I-N-G. Flagging is the term that describes the brown leaves that appeared at the ends of the tree branches after the cicadas had done what?
Mated?
Shedded? I would think shed their shells. Shedded their shells.
No, that's after they laid their eggs. They had mated, then they made a slit in the branches and laid the eggs, and the result of that injury caused that flagging to occur. Let's go to the zoo for 5 points. The Olympic rowing competition in Tokyo this year was almost disrupted by these tasty bivalves that had weighed down the metal structure meant to reduce wave action. The Olympic rowers, after all, wanted a gold medal, not a pearl.
Is it oyster? I think it's oyster.
Yeah.
I would think Oyster?
It is an oyster. That's the tasty bivalve. Absolutely right. All right, I have a picture for you. Look at this visual for 15 points in zoo. The bird known as a roadrunner, famous from cartoons for its speed and in real life for its ability to attack and kill rattlesnakes, is actually related to this bird, famous for popping out of Swiss-made clocks.
Cuckoo bird.
Cuckoo bird.
It is a cuckoo. Yes, it is. For 25 points, there is a new French movie, a strange movie, about two men who have a pet housefly the size of a Labrador retriever. The title of the movie is this M initialed name, the same as the name for an insect's jaws.
Mandibles.
Mandibles.
That's right. The movie is
Mandibles.
called Mandibles. Yes. Strange movie it is. Body systems. 3 questions for you as we head to your first break. John Nance Garner, Vice President under President Franklin Roosevelt, who had one time been the Speaker of the House, thought so little of the vice presidency that he compared it to a pitcher of warm this, a cruder version of the word saliva.
Spit?
Spit. Spit out.
That's right. Yeah, he called it, it's worth a pitcher of warm spit. He really did not like being vice president. Good answer. For 15 points in body systems. While an orthodontist is a dentist who straightens your teeth, a periodontist is a dentist more concerned about these body parts next to your teeth.
Gums.
Gums? Yeah, okay.
Gums.
That is correct,
Gums.
yes. Worried about gum disease. Perfectly correct. Good. 25 points. These body parts, made of keratin, that first appeared in ancient lemurs in Madagascar, gave those primates and eventually us a better grasp of small diameter branches and food.
Can you repeat the question?
I sure can. These body parts made of keratin that first appeared in ancient lemurs gave those primates and eventually us a better grasp of small diameter branches and food.
Keratin?
It's nails. Nails are made out of keratin.
Yeah, no.
Nails?
You got it right. The fingernails is correct. All right, good first round there, MLK. 160 points. A good first showing there. Be back with you in just a moment. Keep up your great playing. Good to see you guys. It is now time to meet that team again, to bring back that team from Kettering Middle School. Let's talk to the players. If you didn't miss them the first time, and Andrew is here for the first time, but Oliver and Peyton are back. Let's tell you a little bit about them. Let's start with Oliver. And Oliver, tell us a little bit about how you guys prepared for this competition.
We had a lot of Zoom meetings, just studying and playing a few games, and also watching old videos and trying to answer the questions ourselves.
That's great. Well, you guys are finishing your each other's sentences, and that just bodes well for the second half here. What do you hope to do when you get older? What are your career plans?
I don't really have any yet. I'm looking forward to experiencing new things so I can find out what I really want to do in the future.
Oh, hey, there's so many options out. One more question for you. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I really like talking to my friends and getting to know people better and also making new friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, friends are great in life. Without them, life loses a lot of its spark. So yeah, keep that up. Let's talk to your teammates there. Andrew, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Andrew story. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I like to play video games and spend time with my family.
Yeah, sounds like typical stuff. And how did you get through the pandemic?
Well, just try to keep a positive mindset and try to make the most out of everything. So even though it might have been not such a good time, try to think about like, oh, you're lucky to be alive and how like all the stuff that you have, and or compared to other people who don't really have much.
Boy, what wise words and how empathetic you are. Absolutely. We can complain about having to get a shot or not getting a shot and being housebound, but think of the people who do not have the opportunities that we do here and the resources. Thank you for sharing that. And Peyton, how'd you get through the pandemic?
Well, I just still did some things I like to do in the house. Like I still play a lot of video games. Summer of 2020, I went to coding classes, which was very fun. We made a lot of stuff, and I just played in like the backyard and sometimes played with my neighbors, but I still kept my mask on.
Well, that's great. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. You're a good citizen. You're a good young man. I know you like sports, and I hope you were able to indulge that in the backyard and play some sports during that long time off. All right, guys, let's get back into the game here, and we have 9 more questions for you, starting with the Let's Get Physical category. So if you're ready, let's begin. Let's get physical for 5 points, Kettering. Earth's version of this device that we use to control the temperature in our homes seems to be out of whack as it's getting hotter and hotter on this planet.
Thermostat?
You got it right. Wherever the Earth's thermostat is, it is not working the way it should. Let's go to the fifth good answer. 15 points in Let's Get Physical is a visual question, guys. Look at this picture. This is a plant hopper. Plant hoppers, which have the remarkable ability to jump like grasshoppers, actually have a device atop their hind legs that acts like one of these that drivers and cyclists shift when going uphill and downhill.
Gears?
That's right. They actually have little gears there. Imagine that Mother Nature was not able to come up with a wheel, but somehow through evolution she gave these insects gears. Good answer. 15 points. 25 points in Let's Get Physical. A television ad for Virginia's Luray Caverns, which are underground, of course, which are full of stalactites and stalagmites, calls the place the Hall of Fame for what G, as in George, the Hall of Fame for what G initialed branch of science?
Geology?
You got it. Perfect. Geology it is. You're perfect thus far in the second round. Potpourri for 5. If you want to wish upon a star, as Jiminy Cricket sang to Pinocchio, you might want to look to the sky in July during the Perseids, which are showers of these, the real shooting stars.
Meteors?
That's right. That's one of the groups of meteor showers that we can see throughout the year here. Perfect. For 15 points. A new high-tech bassinet is working wonders for new parents with babies that won't sleep through the night. Artificial intelligence senses when the baby wakes up and starts rocking back and forth and making noises that are like when the baby was back in his mother's what? W initialed organ.
In the womb?
In the womb, absolutely right. Thank you, Peyton. W-O-M-B. 25 points in potpourri. This word that describes the flow of electricity through a wire is the same word that describes streams of water in the ocean, like the Gulf Stream.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure can. This word that describes the flow of electricity through a wire is the same word that describes streams of water in the ocean, like the Gulf Stream.
Current?
Current, that's it, good. Let's go to Dateline for 5 points, multiple choice, multiple choice. One of our county's elementary schools is named for chemist Samuel Massey, the first ever African-American professor at the U.S. Naval Academy and a key scientist on this project that developed the atomic bomb in World War II. Was the name of that project that developed the atomic bomb in World War II the Chicago Project, the White Sands Project, or the Manhattan Project?
The Manhattan Project?
It is the Manhattan Project. You got it. Perfect. Another multiple choice question for you for 15 points in Dateline. Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson argued, If you remember, they both went up into space briefly on their own rockets. Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson argued about where the Earth's atmosphere ends and outer space begins. Most scientists believe that this so-called Kármán line is at 50 miles, 75 miles, or 100 miles above the Earth. Where space begins. 50, 75, or 100 miles above the Earth.
75.
The first one, 50 miles, 50 miles. Good guess, though. Last question of the game. Gregor Mendel's experiments with crossbreeding plants led him to discover that some traits, like color and size, occurred more often than others. He called those that appeared most often dominant traits, and those less often as these R-initialed kinds of traits.
Recessive.
Recessive.
It is recessive for 25 points. Great round there, Kettering. Great round. 240. Tremendous job, guys. Tremendous job. Let's see if that holds up. Let's see if you're going to go to the semifinals. And we're welcoming back that team from Martin Luther King. They had a great first round. It is a very competitive game here today. The best of the best competing here on the Science Bowl, hoping to make it to the semifinals in this year's middle school competition. If you did not have the pleasure of meeting these young people at the last time they were on, let's introduce them to you now. Let's start with the captain, Martin McCall. Martin, you've been with us in your elementary school years, now through your middle school years, and do you have any great memories of Science Bowl?
I think my best memory was in 6th grade when we faced Robert Goddard and we won. That's the one time we won Science Bowl, or I have won, and I also got the Audubons, which I liked. I wish we still did in person like that.
Boy.
I remember.
I wish you were here too in person, because we always loved having you here. If there is anyone who has been on our show more than you, I cannot remember them from our 36 years. I like that you like the Audubon books, and yes, whenever you win the championship, you know, that's a memory, that's something to be proud of for life. Always good to have you here. Let's talk to your teammates there. Hey, Bailey, how about you?
Hi.
Hi. Tell me a little bit about your favorite. Do you have a favorite memory of Science Bowl?
I would say my favorite memory is probably from 5th grade, the first year I did Science Bowl, and we were in person competing.
Wow.
My first competition.
That's you always remember the first time you do things, and yeah, being here in the studio, a lot of kids come in here and say, boy, it looks so much bigger on television, and that's often the case when you get to a place, but we hope it's a souvenir experience, and what you just said makes me believe that it is. Tell me what you do in your spare time, Bailey, if you would.
I play soccer, and I really enjoy painting.
Wow. So a well-rounded person. You're an artist and an athlete and a scientist. You got it all going for you, young lady. Let's talk to your other teammate there, Kelvin. Hey, Kelvin. Kelvin, every time I see you, I just remember your personality and what a great captain you were when you won the county championship for Bond Mill. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember we came out to the school to give you your medals because we had shut down that year, and I hope you treasured that medal. Do you have a favorite memory?
Winning that year was a pretty good memory.
Yeah, absolutely right. And when you get older, what are your plans?
I want to be a bioengineer.
Bioengineer. Well, anybody that gets you is going to be fortunate because you're a great STEM student. All right, Martin Luther King, I have 9 more questions for you from Let's Get Physical and Science Potpourri and Dateline. So if you're ready, here's your Let's Get Physical question for 5 points. A catapult is a perfect example of Newton's law of motion that states for every action, there is an equal and opposite what?
Reaction.
Reaction is correct. 15 points, and let's get physical. When Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origin crew flew into space last summer, they all experienced weightlessness after traveling at Mach 3, which is equal to what?
3 times the speed of sound, because Machs are sound speed. 3 times the speed of sound.
Yes, sir. Absolutely correct. For 25 points, pyrocumulus clouds. P-Y-R-O, cumulus. Pyrocumulus clouds, which form during these natural disasters, can produce their own weather, including lightning and tornadoes.
Volcanic eruptions, because pyro has to do with volcanic eruptions. That's the natural disaster, volcanic eruptions.
We can accept that. Yes. Also, wildfires can create their own weather. Correct. We move on. Potpourri for 5 points. Roy Rogers was a cowboy. Roy Campanella was a baseball player. And to help you remember the order of the 7 colors of the rainbow, there is Roy G. Who?
Viv.
That's right.
Viv.
Good answer. You got yourself 5 points. Potpourri for 15 is a visual. Look at this picture, please. Sounding like it's a pig's skin condition. This school in the Harry Potter series is actually named for one of the favorite flowers of the author J.K. Rowling.
Hogwarts.
That's right.
Hogwarts.
That is a Hogwarts flower. Absolutely right. For 25 points in potpourri, the closest black hole to Earth is 1,500 of these outer space distance units away from our planet.
Light years.
Light years it is. That's the consensus answer. Perfect. Dateline for 5. Many Americans received one of these, variously called jabs or Fauci ouchies, in their arms over the past year.
Vaccines.
That's right.
COVID
Vaccination. Absolutely. For 15 points, because the beds provided for the Olympians this past summer in Tokyo were made of this reinforced paper product, after the games, the beds were recycled.
Cardboard? Reinforced paper product? Cardboard.
It is cardboard. Absolutely right. Last question for you in the game is a multiple choice. Before there was Bill Nye the Science Guy or Neil deGrasse Tyson of the Cosmos program, the most popular science guy in America was an astronomer who famously said that there were billions and billions and billions of stars. Was that man Enrico Fermi, Carl Sagan, or Christian Barnard?
Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan.
It was Carl Sagan, the astronomer. Absolutely right. 295 points. Tremendous work. Let's see if that holds up. Let's see if you are going to the semifinals. Well, we promised you a great game, and it was that. Near perfection in some of those rounds there, because these young people, not only are they great scientists, but they are great statisticians. They know how to play the game. They're strategizers, and they knew how to tap into all the talent on the team. Some people are stronger in animals and physics, and some also in chemistry, and it all played out here today. We're proud of all of our players, and one team will be going on to the semifinal round robin. Our final tally today is Kettering 240 points, Martin Luther King 295. Martin Luther King, congratulations. So we will see you out there with Charles Carroll and with Robert Goddard, and everyone's clapping as they should. You are clapping for yourselves. I'm clapping for all of you, and the people watching at home are just saying, boy, what great kids there are in Prince George's County. All the science they know, what great sports they are, what good all-around kids. And you all have a curiosity about the world that's going to serve you well. Congratulations to Martin Luther King and to Kettering for making it to this point in our competition. And thank all of you for watching. Join us next time for the first of our round robin games. Until then, I'm Dave Zeri. Bye. Thank you for watching.